Here's a name I can say from the Eradicator.
Hello and welcome to this channel, everybody. This is the Eradicator, and today we are going to review Star Citizen Alpha 3.6 branch. I know I should have done it a couple of weeks ago, I should say, because we're already halfway through Q3 and not all of the features have been released, unfortunately. So I was waiting. But at some time, at some point, you need to find a limit. You need to say, that's it, stop. We're gonna do it anyway because time is running out. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna go throughout our same category as usual. We're gonna go through bug fixes, quality of life improvements, game-changing elements, overall quality. We'll review the features as well. But I also added a brand new feature just for this patch, which is going to continue throughout the different patches that we're going to have in the future, and that is going to be punctuality. So here we go, guys. Let's get started. Let's review the Star Citizen Alpha 3.6 patch, and we're going to give it a final score. A lot of bugs that make 3.5 almost unenjoyable and almost completely unplayable have been fixed. Let's not forget that in 3.5, combat was literally impossible if you were only interested in PvE. FPS NPCs were rubber banding and were killing you out of nowhere because, not because of skill I should say, but because of server issues. It was of course worse with space NPCs, which featured an infamous jittering, and a jittering that started in 3.4 but that had reached its paroxysm in 3.5, and now finally in 3.6 it is gone. The fact that NPCs can fly again triggered numerous fixes, all related to space combat missions, which are now feasible. Speaking of feasible missions, delivery missions are now working again for the most part. Drop boxes have been fast and reliable as they advertise, and missions don't get withdrawn out of the blue. However, on some occasion, boxes fall through ship floors and planet surfaces, making those missions impossible to complete. Another annoying bug that flawed 3.5s were missing mission markers. Without mission markers, it was of course impossible to know where to go when we were taking combat missions. Fortunately, this was fixed in 3.6 and combat missions do work now, when NPCs show up or when it's the correct NPC flying the correct ship, which is a new problem that now occasionally flaws 3.6 combat missions, which prevents their completion. Overall, 3.6 fixed a ton of annoyingly game-breaking bugs, but also brought new ones, not as bad as the previous ones, but still annoying enough to be noticeable. In the end, I'll give a 7 out of 10 for bug fixes. Quality of life is where 3.5 failed, and once more I'm glad to see that CIG did its best to make the game playable again. The addition of ArcCorp and its moons oversaturated the servers, which were barely able to handle the game anymore, and CIG managed to optimize the game well for this patch by implementing new server technologies and by placing Delamar into its own container box. While 30k disconnections and other server issues like bugs falling through floors are still a thing, chances of losing everything in the trade run are far less likely, and this is most welcome because it is bringing a restored peace of mind that I have when I'm flying, which makes me give it an 8 out of 10. As far as game-changing elements go, a few game-changing elements have been added to the game, such as the vertical takeoff and landing, or VTOL system, as well as the first implementation of an embryo of a law system. As far as VTOL is concerned, the least we could say is that it does take some time to get used to it, but once you do, you can make some most satisfying landings at moon and planetary outposts. Hangar landing is a different matter, and it is near impossible without external view, which is something that CIG is working on improving. But of course, the other game-changing element is, as previously mentioned, the new embryo of a law system. I say embryo because it still lacks a lot of functionality, such as NPC security, fine, kiosk, or prisons, which are all features planned by CIG. Nevertheless, committing crimes and having a crime stem now has serious consequences, as stations shoot you down and local security often interdicts you to take you down. This can, of course, all stop if you hack a security terminal at one of the security outposts featured around the verse, the most famous being SPK. Because these two features dramatically change the tone of the gameplay experience and go towards the right direction, I give it an 8 out of 10. I wished I could have given more, but we are talking about only 2 features, and rentals, I'm talking about ship rentals, have not been released yet, which prevented any higher mark here. As mentioned earlier, the game is much more playable now. Most of the different gameplay loops work well, although they can get crippled by server issues. The new tech elements do seem to bring better performance for the servers, which was much needed after the additions brought by 3.5. Add to this a very well done Vanguard rework, although only half of it is there, and the other half being delayed to 3.7, we have a decent 7 out of 10, the mark being hindered by the new bugs that have appeared with this patch. Now, this is the new feature of this review series, punctuality, and I am introducing that with this 3.6 patch because it's been a month and a half since the end of Q2, and two prominent features of the patch are still missing, the 890 jump and ship rentals. While of course I can accept delays, I do not accept the lack of information. We have been told nothing about ship rentals, and we're being told nothing about what is stopping the 890 jump from being tested in the PTU, at least by the Evo Caddy. We missed the deadline, plus the complete lack of transparency gives me no choice but to give an unfortunate 0 out of 10, and I'm afraid that this will not be the last of this year, with 3.7 looking like it is not going to be making much progress at all either. And for the features of this patch, of course, we need to check out the roadmap, which is where we're at now. And, well, let's have a look at the characters. Well, unfortunately, we don't have any character updates for 3.6, so I'll give it an NA not available. Let's move out to the locations with the rest stop stations exterior variations, which are a very nice little addition here, but it's not, these are not planets, these are not major station, it's not a rework of Port Olisar whatsoever, so I would only give it a 6 out of 10. There is no AI here, so another not available. Let's move on to the gameplay, and we have quite a lot of brand new thing available. Ship purchasing kiosk, which unfortunately is not very useful because ships are so expensive, so I don't think a lot of people are using them, but they are working anyway. The black market economy, security forces and shops will be able to identify stolen and illicit goods. Well, it doesn't make any changes either, unfortunately. Security forces do interdict you and give you a crime stat though, so that is correct. The hover mode is quite game changing, we talked about it before. Weapon attachment, implementation of player customization for personal weapons. Yeah, we do have some scopes or extra zooms, that is true, but again, it's not, we don't really need them either to become better. It doesn't give much of an edge in my opinion, at least that's because I'm quite good without using them. Ship rentals, that's a big shame, it's not there yet. Player free look, not very useful, but a good addition if you want to have a look around, I guess. Ragdoll improvements, especially these are the death animations, cool, but not very major either. Player jump, yeah, it works a little bit better, especially at low G, but not very fantastic. Ship degradation, meh, not really useful. It adds some immersion, it adds some extra details that Chris really likes, but not so much. Same for misfires, not really necessary in my opinion. Player carryables, improvements on how players pick up and carries items, not very necessary either. Transit system V2, improvement of ingress and egress system, yes, that is much better. I really appreciate having to wait just 1 minute instead of 3 or 4 or 5 or even more. That is a much welcome addition. And the loss system V1, we talked about it, it is an embryo. So overall here, gameplay 7 out of 10. A lot of these features don't bring much. Rentals is not complete, whereas some of the other features are quite game changing, so that's why I think 7 is a fair mark here. Let's move on then to vehicles, ships and vehicles. We got the Anvil Ballista. Yeah, that is very interesting. The problem is that right now we don't have any means of transportation for it, so not very useful. Also, why would we need the Ballista since there are no drug wars anymore, right? We also have the Vanguard Varden update, which is the base Vanguard, but that's basically all we're having here, and some of these snub fighters which are pretty useless. I mean, who flies these? Seriously. So that's why here only a 3 out of 10. I'm not including the 8-9 jump. The 8-9 jump is not out there, so I'm not counting it. 3 out of 10. Next, we are talking about the weapons. We got a new pistol, which adds diversity, and a new small machine gun here, which quite frankly I'm not a big fan. I really prefer the Gallant Assault Rifle. It's like a scaled down version of the Gallant Assault Rifle that is also not as great as aiming. I haven't tried the Max Oz Neutron repeaters, but apparently you can find them on ArcCorp. I haven't had a chance to modify my ship yet, so I'll just give it a 5 out of 10. Let's move down there to the Cortex. Cortex client to server actor network rework. Oh yeah, thanks to these new server additions, things are working a little bit better. Also same for asynchronous disconnection refactor. That is quite major. This is the reason why 3.6 is working decently compared to 3.5. Distribution and ecosystem improvements. Well, that is always good to have a little bit extra variety in ecosystems. You can find some of these extra modifications on Hurston. Shield system tech replacement. Well, people are complaining that shields have holes, but overall the shields are looking pretty neat with this new system. Harvestable entity spawning. So far we are only talking about mining, but in the future it is going to be about resources that you'll be able to harvest, like fruits and vegetables, which is going to be very useful for farming in the future, and performance optimization. Overall, I think that Core Tech has been making some progress here, some pretty good progress, and I will give it a 9 out of 10. Add it all up and the features are given a total of 6 out of 10. So overall, the features of 3.6 get a 6 out of 10, which in my opinion does not reflect what this patch should be worth, but the delays and the lack of transparency gave me no choice here. So if we add all up, the final score for this Star Citizen Alpha 3.6 is 6 out of 10, which seems to be the feature figure of the moment. On paper, this patch deserved so much better, but the delays and sick developers have made it otherwise. And while it is understandable to encounter delays and have sick personnel, deadlines are deadlines, and it is CIG's responsibility to find ways to meet them or inform the people they are reporting to, us, about what is going on and how they plan to overcome the hurdles presented to them, something they sadly often have failed to, as the current situation shows once again. And that's all for this video. I hope you enjoyed this little review of Star Citizen Alpha 3.6, and I hope you thought that it was accurate. Anyway, now guys, let's talk about the giveaway, because this month I have a giveaway. I am giving away a Tomb Raider Ranger CV with lifetime insurance. All you need to do to get a chance of winning is to subscribe to this channel and to comment to any videos posted this month. The winner will be announced early September. Good luck to everybody. A big thanks to all the Patreons out there who are helping me on a monthly basis. Patreons get access to a couple of cool perks, such as your questions asked in the show, and also exclusive Patreon giveaways. That is a new thing, so go check it out if you are interested. The link is in the description down below. Any help is more than welcome. Also, big thanks to all the people who helped me get this new PC. You guys are absolutely awesome. You guys stood up when I needed your help, and I am really grateful. Thank you so much. Alright guys, tomorrow we're gonna have an interesting new video. We're going to talk about the planets I am the most interested about in Star Citizen. This is something I haven't done yet, and I'm quite excited. I've made a lot of research about these, and I can't wait to share that with you guys. That's all for this video. This is the Eradicator. I'm signing out.